Merhaba herkese. Bugün BrandWeek etkinliğinin 4. günü. Bugün Branding ve Creativity'ye ayrılmış. Ben de brandler ve creativity ile ilgilendiğim için bugün de ziyaret etmek istedim etkinliği. Çok ilginç oturumlar var. Onlara katılacağım. Onlardan kısa videolar paylaşmaya çalışacağım. Ayrıca burada Medyakep dergisinin seçtiği lav markalarının ayrı standları var. Değişik etkinlikler oluyor standlarda da. Oraları da ziyaret edeceğim. Bunları sizlerle paylaşacağım. Bakalım nasıl bir gün bizi bekliyor olacak. Markalar ve Creativity günü. O yüzden birçok markanın burada standı var. Birazdan lav markalara da gidip bakacağım.
In health, I want to talk about sound healing and this idea that we're calling healthinism. We like to make up new words in trend forecasting. So, sound healing. You've all heard of mindfulness and you've heard of meditation, but a new twist on this is young people gathering for sound baths, which is a group meditation where you focus on the vibrations of tuning forks and singing bowls, and it's a way to kind of tune out the digital world, tune into your own thoughts without being completely surrounded by silence. Young people often now, I mean, our attention is so divided everywhere. Silence can be intimidating sometimes. So this is a way to give people something to focus on.
Yogası var, biliyor musunuz KHK yogasını?
Bilmiyorum ben.
Bir yapalım mı beraber?
Yapalım.
Diyelim ki gülmeyi beceremiyorsunuz,
Tamam.
kahkaha atamıyorsunuz. İlk önce elinizi şöyle koyuyorsunuz, karın çakranızın altına doğru. Derin bir nefes alıp ilk önce ha ha ha ha ha ha.
To today, social good on steroids and brand and content futures. So this is a statistic from our sonar research, which is where we ask consumers how they feel about a range of topics, and we did a survey specifically on how they feel about social good and corporate social responsibility. Perhaps more than we even want to about ad blocking, because it's a very disruptive development in our industry. But what we've seen come out of that is that the growth of native advertising, which kind of posits that you're going to need to compete on more equal terms with publishers than in the past. So Business Insider found that the spending on this will grow immensely by 2018. In the Middle East, 69% of marketers say that content marketing is very important to their strategies.
Bazı markalar neden daha fazla word of mouth yaparlar ve neden bazı videolar gerçekten viral olabilir? Karşınızda Profesör Jonah Berger.
Good morning. So everyone here in the room today has the same goal. How can we make our products and our services and ideas catch on? How do we make these things catch fire and spread from person to person, almost like a disease or a virus might? And today I'm going to talk about the power of word of mouth to help us do that. How we can use consumer communications to change people's minds and to activate them and to start movements around our brands or our ideas. But before I get there, I want to start our minds working a little bit by playing a quick game. You've probably never played this game before, but I promise you'll get the hang of it very quickly. It's called Which is Tastier. And very simply, I'm going to put up two things on the screen, and I'm going to ask you which of those things is tastier. And I want you to be honest, not what you wish was tastier, not what you think should be tastier, but which of the two is actually tastier. It'll be quite easy. Our first contestant, as you can already tell, is a wonderful, delicious head of broccoli. Now you probably know that broccoli has lots of vitamins and nutrients. You probably know that broccoli has a lot of fiber. You may not have realized that broccoli has lots of vitamin C, but it does. Our first contestant is wonderful, delicious broccoli. And our second contestant is, well, a cheeseburger. Now, this is not my cheeseburger. If I was to eat a cheeseburger, I might put a little bit of different toppings on top. But feel free to put whatever toppings you like on the cheeseburger. And to keep things even, to be fair, feel free to put whatever toppings you like on the broccoli as well. Okay, now here's the tough part. If I asked you to vote which is tastier, right, which would you do? Would you vote for the cheeseburger or the broccoli? And you don't have to raise your hands, but I'm guessing, and I've played this game a couple times, that most of you would go with the cheeseburger. And maybe a couple of you would go with the broccoli. Right? If you went with the broccoli, you might be maybe a vegetarian, or maybe a liar, one or the other. I'll let your colleagues guess based on how well they know you. But the point here is really simple, right? We find certain food tastier. Right? And it's not random or luck. We know we should eat the broccoli, yet when push comes to shove, the cheeseburger beckons. It just fits better with the way our tongues and our stomachs are designed. Certain food is just tastier than others. Now, they're not the only thing, right? McDonald's spent millions of dollars engineering French fries that are made of crisp and salt and sugar. They hit your tongue lights up. Certain food is tastier. And you might be wondering, okay, it's close to breakfast time, but why are we talking about food? Well, I'd like to take this analogy of certain food being tastier than others and port it to our brands, right? The companies and businesses we represent. And very simply, right, how tasty is the way we communicate to others? How tasty is our marketing? Because just like certain food is tastier than others, based on the way it fits with people's tongues and their stomachs, certain ideas, certain ways of communicating messages are going to be more successful based on the way they fit with, well, people's minds, right? If we understand the science of consumer psychology and consumer behavior and why people share in the first place, we can build messages and ideas and products that are more likely to be shared. And so I'll answer 3 questions today. First, how can we make our marketing tastier? By understanding that science. Second, how can we generate word of mouth, both online as well as off, and craft contagious content, make viral content online? And third, how can we use these ideas to help our products and services catch on? But before we get in a little bit about how you can apply it, and if you have any questions, I don't think we have time today to take them from the audience, but feel free to find me at J1Burger on Twitter. And all the papers I'll talk about today, all the academic research, in addition to being in the back of the book, is actually on my website at jonahburger.com. So you can download all the papers there if you're interested.
Burası ana konferans salonu. Birazdan yine güzel bir oturum başlayacak.
Bayanlar ve baylar, kahve molasından sonra Faris Yakup'la devam ediyoruz. Faris Yakup. Merhaba. How are you all? How's it going so far? Are you having any fun? Having a nice time? Are you enjoying yourselves? You can say stuff, it's alright. Yes?
Yes.
Hey, great, that's good, I'm glad. I've been enjoying the day, it's been quite fun so far, I think. Hello, what do you want? Okay, no branding on stage. Okay, anyway, so I enjoyed a shepherd's talk this morning, that was very cool, it was very trendy. I liked Professor Berger's stuff, that was great.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there was nothing but a man on a mission to work out how to communicate in a networked world, how to use what we know to discover what we don't yet know, how to bring culture, commerce and technology together to create a future for brands, and get the President's Prize from the IBA in the process. A bizarre coagulation of Colin Farrell, Russell Brand, Hugh Jackman, Eddie Izzard, and Adam Duritz come together to play the same man, Faris Yakub, in Genius Steals. His story will touch you, even though he can't.
This tagline was taken from Edward Scissorhands.
So my trailer. Did you like my trailer? Thank you. İstanbul 2016 sahnesinde ilk kez o araştırma açıklanacak. O araştırma ile ilgili bütün bilgiler sizinle paylaşılacak. Çok fazla sözü uzatmıyorum. Stephen Roy ve Profesör Doktor Halil Nalçıoğlu gelecek. Şimdi sahnede Dünya Merak Araştırması var.
Hello, how you doing? Super, thanks very much. I'm going to start off. So welcome to our freshly formed Anglo-Turkish double act for this session, especially for you in Istanbul. And thank you for joining us today to talk about TV viewing habits in the age of curiosity and how, as the world's #1 pay TV programmer, Discovery is meeting the needs of today's consumer by curating the content that's relevant to them. As I'm sure you'll agree, TV is a big factor in feeding people's curiosity. In most cases, it's about igniting their curiosity, encouraging them to go out into the real world and follow up on a project or to explore different media around the information. What we'll discover today is that curiosity can come in many different shapes and forms, to the point where it can become a way of life.
Lead to engaging programming. We wondered how curiosity works today. Are people still curious? How do they satisfy that curiosity? And what role does the media play? So we surveyed 2,100 people in 7 countries, from South Africa to Russia, and here's what we found out. Once we had too little information, and the people who controlled the information controlled the world. Knowledge was power. Then we had too much. We were overloaded with information. Knowledge became stress. Our research suggests that era is passing. We've discovered a new attitude that's spreading around the world, one in which knowledge is pleasure. In fact, 89% of people said they get a buzz out of finding something new and interesting. Welcome to the age of curiosity. The citizens of the age of curiosity aren't drowning in a sea of information, they're splashing around playfully in it. 90% of the people we asked told us they like learning new skills they can apply in life. Curiosity is a gateway to satisfying our hunger for knowledge. Being well-read, entrepreneurial and well-travelled were the top 3 characteristics people admired in others. 88% of people said they admire well-rounded individuals. Turns out, today's curiosity is also a benevolent force. 81% said they felt great when their passions were benefiting the wider society. These are the new Renaissance people. To be one, you just need to engage all the different modes of curiosity. Our research shows that there are 5. So what are they? Number 1. Sometimes we accumulate trivia just for the heck of it and end up on a fact-finding spree, whether it's useful or not. Knowledge for knowledge's sake has a special buzz of its own. 87% of people said they like snacking on different experiences and information. We don't just use search engines for every answer. Sometimes it's more efficient to phone a friend. We aren't afraid to ask others who can provide more colour or context. 82% of people said they enjoy discovering new things with others. We also need some undemanding downtime. In an age of overstimulation, we need to spend time digesting. Our curiosity ebbs and flows as we dive deep and then zone out. 51% of people said they enjoy watching things that don't require their complete attention. There's also a time and place for worldly investigations, when we want to give new facts some deeper meaning. The richest knowledge comes from our own experiences of the world. 85% of people said they constantly strive to expand their worldview. And finally, there are rabbit holes, where we get hung up on a small detail we want to find out more about and open up more questions we pursue further. This is how our interests turn into passions. 90% of people said they enjoy deepening their experience on things they find interesting. And the good news is, anybody can learn to use all 5 of them and become a new Renaissance person. So how does your nationality reflect your curiosity? And how do people satisfy their various curiosities through media? To find out more, visit our dedicated Research and Insights website.
Yemek salonunda Medyaket'in 25. yıl sergisi var. Eski kapaklar burada sergileniyor. Özellikle eskiden kediler varmış kapaklarda. Gerçekten adına uygun bir şekilde ben de bunu yeni öğrenmiş oldum. 2002 yılına ait bir kapak bile gördüm az önce. Bunlar da medya kedileri. Ersin'i nerede görsem tanırım. Değişik bir selfie çekiliyor. Food selfie diye bir şey. Ben de çekeceğim birazdan. Burada resmin üstüne çıkıp ayağınızın selfiesini çekebiliyorsunuz.
Şimdi bir reklamcı işinden istifa ediyor, dünyayı dolaşmaya karar veriyor. Ve bu gezisini tüm dünyaya ilan edip bir video çekiyor. O videoyla da tüm dünyaya ilan edip ben böyle bir şey yapıyorum, dünyayı dolaşmaya başlıyorum diyor. 2014'te Amsterdam'daki işini bırakıyor, 2016 Ocak ayına kadar sırt çantalı stajyer, backpacker intern. Böyle bir tanımlamayla bütün dünyayı dolaşıyor. 7 kıta, 27 ülke, 32 kurumda bu hikayenin parçası oluyor. Yiyecek ve kalacak yer karşılığında ajanslarda, markalarda, hayır kurumlarında, STK'larda çalışa oradan oraya ülke dolaşıyor. Mark van der Heyden'in sunumu için kendisini sahneye davet ediyoruz. Gittiği ülkelerin dinamiği var. Mark çalışarak geldi. Mark nasılsınız?
Nasılsınız?
Nasılsınız?
Merhaba.
Ve
Nasılsınız? How do you promote yourself as a creative if your ambition is the world?
Meet Mark van der Heijden, the backpacker intern, helping out agencies, brands, and charities. But he doesn't want to get paid. He just wants to trade. A day of his work for food and a place to sleep.
After launching this video, the idea got picked up by international blogs, newspapers, radio, and TV shows. It was crazy. It resulted in more than 750 job offers from all over the world. I got hired by agencies I could normally only dream of working for. Besides agencies, I also helped out some cool brands and charities. In 1 year, I've worked in 25 countries on 6 continents and gained experience at 30 companies. According to TEDx, my story was an idea worth spreading. Host of the event, Nile Rodgers, invited me for an internship. 3 weeks later, I was hanging out with Avicii and Chris Martin from Coldplay. Just another day at the office. 80% of millennials, so that's people between 18 and 35 years old, they value experience over money. As the world's most driven talent. I'll explain you why. Our model is super simple. We have creative freelancers who trade their skills for experience abroad.
yaratıcılığın izinde Amerika'dan Franz Kafka'ya karşınızda Mika Johnson.
Thank you, and merhaba. Let your limitations guide your work. So, in theory, this is simple. So say you want to make a feature film, but you don't have money. I started in 2000, and I haven't stopped. I started with a small Sony camera, about this big. It was a gift from a friend of mine, and I actually had no idea what I was doing. I just started recording my friends, my walks to work. But what happened is I started to watch my results, and I realized I was actually getting better. And I was learning the grammar or the medium, and I was speaking in images. And then I made 3 films, almost by accident, just because I was pursuing this by myself, with no crews, very little money, almost none. And they were all around 20 minutes each. One was documentary, 2 were fiction.
Nobel Müzesi ve müzenin küratörü geliyor şimdi. Tobias Dexel geliyor sahneye.
Great. Really happy to be here. This is a picture from the Nobel festivities in Stockholm. I always start with a similar picture when I do my presentation because this picture summarizes what the Nobel Prize and the Nobel Museum is all about. This picture was taken last year on the 10th of December. It's in a concert hall in Sweden, and what you can see in this picture is the Swedish king handing out the golden medal to last year's Nobel laureate Tu Youyou from China. And we use the term Nobel laureates. We never ever call them Nobel winners, because by calling them winners, it's like assuming the rest of you are losers. And it's actually really, really complicated to get yourself the Nobel Prize. So we use the term Nobel laureates. So what you have in this picture, you have the Nobel Prize, but you also have the Nobel laureates, and the rest of the laureates are standing in front of the red chairs. Then finally, on stage, we also have Alfred Nobel. Because the 10th of December was the day when Alfred Nobel died. But we don't celebrate his death, we celebrate the birth of the Nobel Prize.
Hi guys. Well, let's start. I'm creative director of 20-something. I'm a managing partner. 20-something is an advertising agency who connects brands with Generation Y. Every week is another youngster who's taking the lead of the full company. If you work at 20-something, you are at least once in a year CEO of the week.
Markalar her yıl kendi alanlarında seçiliyorlar memleket tarafından. Nescafe'nin dijitalde bir reklamını gördüm. Hiç internette kendine gelmenin yollarını aradın mı diye bence bayağı komik bir Trevego reklamına gönderme yapıyorum.
Hiç internette kendine gelmenin yollarını aradın mı? Cevabın evet mi? Şu an oturuyor olsaydım ayağa kalkar seni alkışlardım. Aferin, aferin. Çok iyi aramışsın.
Buradaki Wi-Fi ağının kurulması Migros size iyi gelecek. Bence çok iyi bir fikir olmuş. Migros'ta lav markalar arasında.
Bir tane müze arşivi var içerisinde. 3 boyutlu olarak müzeleri geziyorsunuz. Detayları görüyorsunuz. İçerisinde info tuşları var. Tıklayarak info tuşlarından bilgi alabiliyorsunuz.
Evet, bugün BrandWeek etkinliğinin 4. gününün sonuna geliyoruz. Etkinlik hakkında, fuaye alan hakkında paylaşımlarda bulunmak istedim. Fikir edinmenize yardımcı olmak istedim. Nasıl bir burada bir ortam var diye. Şu an Lav markaların ödül töreni var. Ondan sonra da akşama doğru Filiz ödüllerinin töreni olacak. İşte Filiz ödüllerinde de yıl boyunca reklam alanında başarılı çalışmalara ödül verilecek. Bunların haberleri zaten gazetelerde, internette, dergilerde çıkmış olur bu ay içinde. Genel olarak bu şekilde benim paylaşacaklarım bu kadar. Bu sene gelemediyseniz de gelecek sene BrandWeek'i kaçırmayın derim.